Hello, I'm Amanda Fowler of Inspiring Inkin. Welcome to my craft room. In today's video we're going to be using the gift bag punch board. This is the second in a series of 4 videos using the gift bag punch board to make different shapes of sizes of boxes and bags. And the bag that we're going to make is actually this one. It's a star bag. So at the top we've got a star-shaped closure, and at the bottom it's actually a pentagon. Now I've got a couple of examples here, both using the Christmas paper, but today I'm going to make one that's more suitable for birthdays with spots. So I just want to explain that this box is actually a happy accident. I was playing with the gift bag punch board and I was actually intending on making a pentagon box with a lid, and I really wasn't happy with it. But as I was playing around with it, I realised that by using the triangle shape, the gusset part shape on the gift bag board, I could make this cool star at the top. So I was really excited, so that's what I'm going to show you today. I do want to give a quick little shout out to one of my team, Elaine. I have a team of Stampin' Up demonstrators across the UK and in Europe as well, and she designed this little tag here, so with the stars on the baker's twine, which I really love, so I'll show you how to do that as well. So let's get started with this. I'm going to be using the Neutrals Designer Series paper stack. Now, if you've not come across these before, they are 40 sheets of paper and there's 2 patterns. So let me show you. So one pattern has got words on it and spots on the reverse, and then the other one, this one's actually going to fall out, so it's got stripes and then these little tiny flowers on the reverse. Now you get 2 sheets of each of the 2 patterns, and in the 4 colour family, so Stampin' Up's 4 standard colours, colour families are neutrals, regals, subtles and brights, so you get 40 sheets in that stack. And then there are another 2 stacks for the in colours, but you actually get 4 sheets of each because the in colours are 5 per colour family. I hope that makes sense. It's actually in the catalogue. I tell you what, I will tell you where it is. It's there on page 144. So that's the in colour stacks and the colour collections. Now the neutrals, and the reason I'm using the neutrals today is because I wanted to show you this. Oh, it's bling. So there are only 8 sets of colours in the neutral stack. So we've got basic black, basic grey, chocolate chip, Sahara sand, early espresso, smoky slate, soft suede, and crumb cake, which I've already used. And then they have these. So this one is silver. I really hope the camera can kind of pick it up. It's got a very subtle glimmer to it. It's not in your face silvery bling, but really pretty. And then gold as well. So you'll only get these in the neutrals stack. Okay, so what we're actually going to work with today is early espresso. I'm going to work with the spots, and this piece of paper is 8 inches by 11. Now it's important, if you are using the words, if you want the words on the outside, then you have to remember that when you put your paper in the board, this is the bottom. So you're punching the bottom. So it feels a bit strange, but you would have to have the words upside down. So as you're looking at the board, okay? And I'm going to do that anyway, because when somebody opens the bag, I don't want the words to be upside down. That wouldn't be very good with it. Okay, so let's pop that in there. Score along the top, so put your paper into the board and score all the way along. I do this on all of the bags. I just think it gives a really neat finish. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do 5 of these triangle sections. So 5 bag gusset sections. So you're going to score the triangle down this line here and here. Now, can you see that the paper's overhanging the board? That will mean that you have to be really gentle as you get to the edge of the paper. So as you're scoring, just be really careful. Don't go right to the edge, because if you go right to the edge, the blade will slide off and it's going to tear your paper or make a hole or a mess. So don't do that. There is a way to extend that score line, and I'll show you that in a little while. There's also something else that you need to see. This is the start line, and this is really key on the board, because each time we line up either the edge of the paper or a score line. But because this is taller, it actually covers over those words. So the board has a little piece here. I call it the beaky bit, and it's like a little bird's beak sticking out. So that's what you're going to line it up with. So if you can't see the start line here, you're going to line it up there. Okay, so let's pop that in. We're lining it up on the start line. Punch. Then you're going to score the triangle piece down, just go steady towards the end, and then the side piece. And then you're going to go again, punch, triangle, down there, but stop just before the end, and the side piece. Move it again. So this is number 3. Punch again. Number 4. And then the last one. And then you're just going to move it along and just do one more punch. Okay, so there are your 5 panels for the base. This piece you're just going to chop off just to make a joining tab. Okay, now we're going to punch the holes. So can you see, let me do it that way. You see the holes all the way along? Now the board has a hole punch. That's this piece here. So this bit is the bit that's punching the base. And then at the top you've got 2 holes, and that's for punching these holes here. So I'm going to turn the board around, and what you're going to do is slide it in. Hang on, I'll show you first. This piece, this is the beaky bit. So you've got, that's that line, but this piece is really key for you lining up with your score lines. So you're going to pop it in, punch, and then you're going to move it along, and you're going to miss the next score line, but then line it up with the one after that. And that score line lines up with this V shape here. And it will punch 2 holes. So you're going to miss a line, punch again, miss a line, punch again, miss a line, punch again, nearly there, miss a line, punch again. Fab. And all those holes line up. And it's really good on the normal gift bag because the holes stack right behind one another. So genius. So that's that. Okay, I think And we don't need the board anymore, but we're just going to use the scoring tool. Now, you'll remember from before that we didn't score right to the ends. So what we're going to do now is just finish those score lines. So just find each score line and just run the scoring tool along, and it will just finish that score line for you. Just make sure each time that it's lined up at the top, because then your score line's going to continue on straight. And just do the last few. Now the triangle sections, you also need to reinforce those score lines as well, and just do that with your fingers. Just flex it and press it in. It's much easier to do this at this point while it's flat rather than doing it once you've glued it. Okay, and then finally I'm just going to run the bone folder all the way along the score lines to make sure that that is nice and flexible, and don't forget to do the base. Now with designer series paper or any paper, just go steady. Don't be really vicious with it, because you can end up cracking the paper. Okay, I'm going to take some tear tape and just pop that down, and then pull that liner off. Oh dear. Always on camera, it doesn't want to play. I'm just going to fold this in, and you just want to make sure that you're lining up the edge with the score line. Okay, so you can actually see that's making the pentagon type shape. Now we're going to turn our attention to the base. Now you'll be able to see on here clearly, I've actually used a scallop circle of cardstock, and there is a second one inside. When the flaps overlap to make this box, you'll find there's a tiny hole in the centre, and obviously if you're going to put anything in there, potentially it could fall out. But more importantly, it's quite a sizable box, so what I didn't want is for things to, you know, for it to tear. So by reinforcing the base, that's a really good thing. So let's get some cardstock. So this is the 2 3/4 inch scallop. Yeah, 2 3/4 inch scallop punch. And I'm going to use my Tombow. So for each piece, I'll start with this one. So this one's going to go in, and then for each piece I'm going to put a little bit of Tombow on the right hand corner as I'm looking at it, until I get to the last one, and then I'm going to put more glue on. So put that one on there, and each time I'm just flapping it over the top. That one and that one. So this is the last flap, so I'm actually going to do a little bit along there and there as well. So and then put my hand inside and actually just make sure they're all stuck together, and it actually looks like an even pentagon. Okay, so like that. Then I'm going to put plenty of Tombow Move that out of the way. Plenty of Tombow on the base there. Oh, it's moving. And then plenty on there. And then you're going to kind of drop it inside and then just move it to where you want it to be. And then if you give it a really good press from both sides, then it gives you this nice sturdy base. Okay, yeah, almost done. So now we're just going to get the bag to score to make the star shape. So I just use my fingers just to encourage it to fold the way I want it to, and the twine will help with that. So this is the ultra thick baker's twine, and it's in cherry cobbler. I'm just going to work out where the back is. So the back is where the seam is. So I'm going to thread that through. Now the holes are quite big, so actually you can use ribbon. You don't have to use baker's twine, but I really like this. It's a really nice weight, and it looks quite cool. So thread that through. One more. And then if you pull it, I'll tilt it so you can see, if you pull it tight, then it makes your star shape. Obviously you're going to fill it full of treats, but if I filled it full of chocolate, then I would be eating the chocolate and not crafting. So I'm not going to put anything in this until it's time to give it away. Okay, so there is the bag. I'm going to trim that bit off there. Oh, really, really long. And then I'm going to do the decorating. So on this bag, I've used the designer series paper, and I've actually used, ooh, falling over. I've actually used the star framelets. So I have used the two smallest ones, these two. But I know that not everyone's got a die cutting machine, a big shop. So I thought I would use punches. So this is the medium star punch, and then this is the star punch from the Itty Bitty Accents punches. Now, all of the items I use are in the YouTube description with links to my online store, so you can purchase them from me if you wish. But it means then that all the information is always there, so you can see it. And you can also check out my blog, which is www.inspiringinkin.com, and you'll find links with all of the information about the measurements and all of the products, and the video there as well, so you can see it there too. So let me move those out of the way. Right, I'm going to make a do you know what? I'm going to do a big glittery star and a little glittery star. So I'm going to ping everywhere, and then a little red star as well. Okay. So let's move those brushes out of the way. So the way to make these stars is to put plenty of Tombow on. So putting it on the two big stars first, and then pick it up and lay the baker's twine over the top, and then sandwich the baker's twine basically between the two pieces of card. Now you're going to have to be patient and just give it a minute just to stick. Tombow sticks fairly fast, but it does have some wriggle room in it, which is why I love it so much. And you may well get glitter and glue on your fingers, but what's crafting without a little bit of glitter, huh? Okay, so there's one, so that's that one, and then I'm going to put the little itty bitty stars, exactly the same, a little bit more fiddly because they are tiddly. So that's that one. It's actually easier with the smaller star if the point goes down. It just seems to sit better. So that's that one. And then finally the tiny star, tiny glittery star I should say. That one. Okay. So again, do it so that the star, the point is going down. Just easier. And again, hold it just for a few seconds. The baker's twine, this is quite thick, and what you're actually doing is you're getting the cardstock and the glitter paper, glimmer paper even, to wrap around it. So it kind of sandwiches it. Yay. There we go. Right. So let's trim that off. Show you the finished little bit, and then trim that off. Okay. So there you go. So there's the finished one, and there are a couple of other variations as well. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the projects. Do pop by my blog www.inspiringinkin.com for more information and other creative inspiration. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel as well, and then you'll always get to see my videos as soon as they're released. I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.